Well, the Arlington Independent Media TV studio is still closed due to COVID. But for this week at least, we can bring back a little bit of the news show that many of our viewers and listeners remember. Daniel Pineda, the longtime co-anchor of Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News, is back this week to read our news stories. He recorded his segment from his own location this week. Maybe we can't yet look like our regular show, but at least we're catching up with MSNBC. Here's Daniel.
Hello, and welcome to Don Hammond's Arlington Weekly News. I'm Daniel Pineda. We have a great news program for today. We have our news stories, community bulletin board, and 55 Plus News. First, I want to thank Hef Munson, our executive producer, for letting us do the news section virtually. Well, now on to our social media reminder. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our very own YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News, and you guessed it, the number 1. Now on to our first news story for today. As of Sunday evening, March 14th, reports the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Arlington has reached 13,638. Regular viewers and listeners will note the continuing increase in our reported case numbers. While the rate of increase has declined, Arlingtonians are still getting sick. 205 people in the last 7 days. Here is some good news for cyclists, pedestrians, and other lovers of the Washington and Old Dominion Trail. The new W&OD Trail Bridge over Lee Highway in East Falls Church is now open. VDOT announced the opening of the $6 million bridge on the morning of Friday, March the 12th, touting what they called a safer, faster crossing over busy Route 29. Previously, trail users would have to wait to cross Lee Highway at crowded intersection next to ramps to and from I-66 and Washington Boulevard. The trail is used by cyclists and pedestrians for both commuting and recreation. About 1,500 people travel on the W&OD Near Bridge each weekday, while more than 2,000 use it on weekends. The project prompted trail detours over its nearly 2 years of construction. It was funded along with upgrades to I-66 ramps, repairs to overpasses, sound wall replacements, and a new Custis Trail roundabout as part of the larger I-66 eastbound widening project. Some finishing touches on the bridge and the nearby intersection will be completed through this summer, VDOT said. As of noon, however, the bridge will officially be open. For those of us who wonder why companies like JBG Smith and Amazon seem intent on importing art from fairway locations for display in Arlington, we have some good news about an Arlington-based arts group, the Arcanists. The Arcanists are presenting something they call shrines. The latest program is a set of 6 art installations. Each one is unique, site-specific, interactive, and entirely free. From March 21st through April the 25th, 6 curious and wondrous shrines will appear throughout the region's landscape, waiting to be discovered. Explorers, adventurers, participants who choose to journey to one or many shrines will travel and enact a ritual connecting them to the magic of a shrine, its location, and other explorers who have been there. The Shrine to the Hidden Depths in Virginia Square is dedicated to those memories hidden below the surface, waiting to explode. It takes the form of 4 historical naval depth charges. Inside each lies a ritual to unlock sense and cultural memory. It is the explorer seeking an unfettered pursuit of curiosity, determination, and truth. Participants are all likely to have a lot of fun. Here are some cautionary news for pet owners. We have received the following message via Arlington County email. Beginning in late November 2020, Arlington County Animal Control began receiving increased reports of sick and or deceased raccoons in multiple neighborhoods in North Arlington. 2 of those raccoons that appeared sick between November 2020 and February 2021 had been sent for testing as a result of potential contact with domestic animals. One of those raccoons tested positive for rabies. Rabies is a disease that people and animals can catch from the bite or a scratch of infected animals. It is a fatal if medical care is not given promptly. With ongoing issues and reports, Arlington County Animal Control and the Arlington County Department of Human Services arranged for broader testing of 6 raccoons that were removed showing neurological signs and symptoms in early March 2021. All of those raccoons tested were clinically positive for canine distemper. Distemper is a viral disease that is always presented in wildlife populations at varying levels. Raccoons are especially susceptible to canine distemper, as well as foxes, coyotes, skunks, and unvaccinated dogs. This virus does not affect humans. The disease is transmitted when animals have direct contact with infected animals or indirect contact with body fluids from an infected animal. We are urging residents in North Arlington to be vigilant. This outbreak is no longer contained to a specific neighborhood. Residents are asked to ensure pets are up to date on their rabies and distemper vaccines. Do not approach or feed wild animals. Feed pets inside. Remove wildlife attractants from yards such as unsecured garbage cans, open containers of food, and compost. If you see a raccoon that appears sick, lethargic, disoriented, or aggressive, you should stay away from the animal and call animal control immediately at 703-931-9241. If you come across a deceased raccoon in your yard or public space, contact animal control immediately. And here is some good news for music lovers. Our friends at Opera Nova are pressing on despite the lingering COVID-19 pandemic. They will present a special featured called The 3 Baritones on their YouTube channel at Opera Nova. Jose Sasson, Alex Albuquerque, and Eduardo Castro, the 3 baritones, as well as piano accompanist Tatiana Luisha, director Carlos Macker, and narrator Brian Dawson. The performers will take place virtually on Thursday, that's March the 25th at 7 p.m. That's all for the news section. Now on to our community bulletin board stories for today.
Hi, and welcome to CBB. We'll start off with an event from the Arlington County Public Library. It's called Women's Words, and it's a history of Gothic women authors in the 18th and 19th centuries. It's a chance to hear well-known Regency Society of Virginia speaker Catherine Spivey as she describes the explosion of women writers who wrote the major Gothic novels of the 18th and 19th centuries. You'll learn about Anne Radcliffe, the Bronte sisters, Mary Shelley, Louisa May Alcott, Jane Austen, and many more authors who pioneered the horror genre of literature as we know it. You can register for this Zoom meeting through the Arlington Library website under Events. That's coming up on Wednesday, March 24th from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Next, here's an event for families. Get ready to go wild. Each program will focus on specific groups of wildlife that live right here in Virginia. This one is about bugs. Not the famous cartoon bunny, but real-life insects. How are insects different from animals with backbones? Which ones sting? How are they beneficial to nature? The presenters will email you a link to Microsoft Teams before the program start time. They ask that you have your device ready to go prior to the start of the program. Registration is required. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. That's activity number 622-951-KK, and it's coming up on Thursday, March 25th from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Next, we have another event for families. It's called Spring Peeper Prowl. Hop on over and join the fun and learn about and search for these tiny tree frogs and other amphibians during this sunset walk. You'll meet at the Long Branch Nature Center. You'll need to register children and adults because children must be accompanied by a registered adult. For information, call 703-228-6535. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. That's activity number 622-951-LL. And it's coming up on Friday, March 26th from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. at Long Branch Nature Center at Glen Carlin Park, 625 South Carlin Springs Road. Finally, in CBB, we have another event for families. Join up for a wildflower walk that will end with a beautiful view of the Potomac River. You'll need to register children and adults because children must be accompanied by a registered adult. For information, call 703-228-3403. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. That's activity number 622-851-DD. And it's on Saturday, March 27th from 10:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon at Gulf Branch Nature Center and Park, 3608 North Military Road. Now it's time for 55 Plus News.
Howdy, and welcome to 55 Plus News. 3 truly trailblazing women lived in the Ball Sellers House, which is now a museum owned and operated by the Arlington Historical Society. Here's a chance to learn about their stories. You'll also come to appreciate how women in Arlington have made history ever since colonial times. The event will be presented by Annette Benbow, Director of the Ball Sellers House Museum. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. That's activity number 913-400-12. It's coming up on Thursday, March 25th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. It's for people age 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. This next event is called Just Beneath the Surface. Here's a chance to look at the work of 3 artists and take a deep dive into what was happening both behind the scenes and beneath the surface of all that paint. Community arts programmer Jim Halloran will explain the context, history, and techniques of some famous and not so famous artists. There will even be a short demonstration of an artist's specific process, along with a follow-up discussion. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 913-302-4, and it's on Friday, March 26th from 10 o'clock to 11:30 a.m. Ages 55 and up and 55 plus membership required. Now here's something a little different. It's called Digital Escape Room. Escape rooms are games that consist of a series of puzzles that you have to solve. Discover clues and find answers as a team to escape in this virtual adventure. Older computer game players will notice that the experience is similar to playing a text adventure game, but with illustrations. There's also a greater emphasis on puzzle solving. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. The activity number is 913601-8, and that's on Friday, March 26th from 1 o'clock to 1:45 p.m. Now they have some repeats running from 2 o'clock to 2:45 p.m., and that's activity number 913601-9. Also from 3 o'clock to 3:45 p.m., activity number is 913601-10. And finally, from 4 o'clock to 4:45 p.m., and the activity number is 913601-11. Again, it's for ages 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Finally, we have an event called Art of the American Soldier. Now, ever since World War I, the U.S. Army has sent artists to document soldiers' experience in the line of duty. This event will include paintings, sketches, and artist statements about their own work. These materials will enable you to gain an insider's view of military history. You'll also learn why the artist chose to chronicle a particular moment, scene, or experience in the life of American troops in combat. The program will be presented by Renee Klisch, former Army art curator at the U.S. Army Center of Military History. You can register online or call 703-228-4747. Just mention activity number 913302-7. That's coming up on Monday, March 29th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. You gotta be 55 and up, and 55 plus membership is required. Anyway, that's all I got for 55 plus news. Meanwhile, look out. I think there's more commentary coming.
Now it's time for some commentary, which I call Over the Bridge, but Not the Rainbow. While the opening of the Washington Old Dominion Bridge over Lee Highway is welcome news, cyclists and especially pedestrians should be aware of what they will and will not find once they make the westward crossing toward Falls Church. First, anyone hoping to get a drink or refill a water bottle at the site of the former shelter will be disappointed. The fountain is not turned on and the push buttons are not yet installed. Second, the former shelter is still a former shelter. It has not been replaced. Anyone hoping to escape a sudden downpour will have to make a U-turn onto the detour path and seek shelter under the bridge itself. On the plus side, the playground equipment just beyond the dormant water fountain has finally been cleared of underbrush. Third, the wooden bridge that separates Arlington from Falls Church has decayed in so many places that the orange warning cones make it resemble a slalom course. Cyclists and pedestrians alike are forced to veer to the extent where the traffic alone is hazardous. Fourth, anyone looking forward to a scenic trip into Falls Church will also be disappointed. The wide stretches of exposed earth give it a scarred, almost post-apocalyptic look. In fifth place comes what I'll call the case of the missing features. Until last summer, there was a small but useful shelter near 26th Street dedicated to the memory of Elwood Street. It took up very little space along the trail side, but it consisted of both a roof and a long bench, all built into a single structure. The reason for its removal is unknown, but one day it was there and still serviceable, and the next day it was gone, leaving an empty space that has not been filled. It was especially useful as a resting place for pedestrians. Perhaps more significantly for many people, the trailside exercise stations between Great Falls Street and Spring Street, all lettered A through D, have all been removed. The large amount of excavated ground suggests that something is going on, but meanwhile, there's nothing to do there. Construction mars the landscape all the way to the approach to the Citizens Bridge over Route 7. Even the bridle path is partially blocked by equipment. For commuting cyclists and pedestrians, the trail into and out of Falls Church is still functional, but anyone looking for pleasant scenery would be better off going east toward the trail's beginning. One other note: it is still possible to take the alternate ground route bypassing the bridge. However, the signs instructing cyclists to dismount and walk have been removed, so pedestrians should be on their guard.
Now we have some more announcements from Arlington Independent Media, or AIM. First up, AIM's second annual benefit auction. AIM will hold its second annual online auction from April 26th through May 16th. They are actively soliciting donations of auction items from individuals, area artists and makers, as well as the business community. Works of art, crafts, books, gourmet baskets, desserts, services, classes, and gift certificates are among the items they hope to offer in the auction. If you're interested in donating items or have ideas about businesses that might be able to help, contact Jackie at jax@arlingtonmedia.org. Also, save the date. AIM will hold its first fundraising gala on April 26th. The ticketed, live-hosted online event will feature pre-recorded segments of music, spoken word, dance, testimonial, sponsor messages, stories about AIM, and more, all hosted live from the AIM studio. Tickets for the event are only $10, and deluxe tickets are available for $100. Deluxe tickets will come with a special gala box delivered a few days before the event. The box will contain wine, snacks, party favors, AIM and WERA swag, and other goodies. They are currently looking for AIM members to help with production, sponsorship, publicity, and more. If you are interested in volunteering, reach out to Jackie or Lori at info@arlingtonmedia.org or call them at 703-524-2388. Of course, if you are not an AIM member, this is a good time to join. Finally, something called Coachella, a 2-night benefit concert on May 7th and 8th from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. Save the date. Coachella is a 2-night virtual concert featuring some of the finest acts in the D.C. metro area. The lineup will include area fan favorites Kaz Gardner, Sweater Set, Chris Matthews, Deccan Traps, and many, many more. Tickets are only $10 for one night or $15 for both nights and will go on sale in early April.
You could call it beauty or
maintaining constant focus on everything we do. And when the work is finished, it's the best that we could give. You could call it dedication. It's how we choose to live. And as we work together, we're transforming in a way into a greater entity that lives through us each day. And you could call it quality, a fleeting, fragile dream, but it's not so elusive as the thought at first may seem. For every day we seek it, and we find it everywhere. You could call it quality, here we call it care. And that concludes this week's show. Once again, I'd like to thank Daniel Pineda for making time for us this week. And who knows, maybe we'll soon be able to bring back our entire lineup of readers and guests, if only virtually. The physical reopening of the TV studio still looks to be a long way off, though. We only hope that the fund drive is sufficiently successful to help speed the process along. At any rate, we will be back next week with more news from Arlington. Meanwhile, be careful, be safe, and be well.